What is up, guys, and welcome back to the episode of the F1 Clash 2024 series. We are here for episode number 11 today. Then if you guys did miss the previous episode, definitely be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. And coming into this episode, we're going to dive straight into it then. No need for some fancy introductions. Let's just get straight to the racing point. We are starting off in Baku then for our first race once again. We've probably raced at Baku the most out of all the tracks we have done so far in Series 3, but we have had good success around here, so hopefully we can keep it up in this episode. And for now, the qualifying looks pretty good. As we come up to the line, both of our drivers will ace the other, our opponent here. So our opponent is using Stroll and Bottas, but we are rocking Albon and Magnussen. No point trying to fix it. Yeah, no point trying to change it if it is working well. For us, of course, the good old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Thinking about using the self-control boost here, and we are going to commit to that, committing to potentially quite an interesting strategy here, because it is going to be wet for a minute 14 seconds, but then dry for about a minute, and then going back to rain, specifically heavy rain, as we go away we go then for the racing here in Baku for 7 laps then of this Grand Prix. And so far it's not been too bad of a start. We've been holding station to our positions at the moment, now just trying to filter our way through the pack, and it's looking pretty decent at the moment. But as I was saying, it is going to be wet for now. It's going to dry for about a minute, and then it's going to be back to heavy rain then, so it might not even be worth going onto the slicks, but we'll have to see how quickly the water on the track evaporates. As you can see on the top of our screen, that's at 100% at the moment, but for now we'll just see how we're doing. Right now it's not looking too great for us, as we have been split by one of our opponents, and I think one of our opponents is using the Warrior boost. That is for Bottas in the back, as he has made his way up into P14, and so good for him. But we are still making our way through the pack as Magnussen makes his way up into P12 then, and we'll see which one we can pit first. I think we're going to pit Albon first, since he has slightly worse tire management compared to Magnussen. And speaking of Albon, he's actually fallen down the order here a little bit, so try to get him a bit of a move on, but luckily Magnussen's not doing too bad there, up in 12th at the moment. Albon makes his way now through the castle section, and now making our way onto the long straight here. Albon's going to make his way into the pits at the end of this lap. Magnussen's going to keep going for one more lap, and as you can see here, we are now on the cloudy phase, as it says on the top of the screen, so it's going to be interesting to see. And look at this, our rival is deciding to pit onto these soft tires for some reason. I don't know why he's necessarily thinking of that, simply because it's not dry enough yet. It needs to be about, I'd say, 30% dry in order for the soft tires to really, or any of the dry tires really, to start kicking in. And right now, it's really not the case at the moment, as we're still at 72% with 23 seconds. It's only going to go back to heavy rain, so we might have pulled off a better strategy here compared to our rival, but we'll see where we end up at the moment, as Magnussen has been overtaken by the Bottas, so we'll see how this ends up. But for Albon, we're trying to see if we can catch up to our rival before he has to re-pit again for another set of wet tires here. We clearly are on the better tire there, so this is actually going to be quite interesting to see where we pop out. Magnussen pops into the out of the pits, as our rival has to go back into the pits there. He goes back onto the wet tire, so we have done the correct strategy here. Our anticipation was worth it, so we are going to be rewarded with hopefully another win here, as he has to make an extra pit stop, and he will have to pit again, because I do not think that Stroll will be able to carry those tires 4-3 laps. Maybe he will be able to, I don't know, but he'll have to do some serious managing at the moment. But right now we're just trying to focus on bringing it home here. Albon is going to be coming in at the end of this lap here. He's sitting right now in P14 now. Magnussen also made his way up into P10 and P9, as a couple of the guys there actually got held up a little bit on the straight. I think Gasly got held up by one of the other drivers. I don't know who that was there, but we take the positions that we need here. We're sitting in 9th at the moment. His rival Bottas is doing well up there in 7th, but it doesn't really matter at the moment, considering the fact that, remember, his Stroll still needs to pit one more time here. Otherwise, he is risking a puncture on the last lap and potentially ruining his race. And I think he knows that as well. But right now, Magnussen is sitting in 9th. His rival Bottas is sitting in 6th, so we're going to have to be careful about this, as Magnussen makes his way up into 8th, and not really going to matter. Now makes his way up into 7th there, as both Ferraris there got caught up on the straight there. Maybe they were trying to conserve a bit of the power unit. They got caught out with the lack of speed there. Magnussen makes his way into the pits, then he will come out, I think, in about P13 as Albon now makes his way down the main straight here into the first corner, trying to get past Yuki Tsunoda here, and he does so successfully up into P14. Then Magnussen is in P12, make that P11 here, potentially P10 if he can get past. Yes, he can there, as his Stroll is, well, he's trying to make it home at this point. I don't think it's going to work. And by the way, his rival Bottas is sitting there in 5th, and he'll have to come into the pits then as Albon now makes his way up into 13th place, make that now 12th. So we are still gaining a lot of positions here at the moment. His Bottas is going to come out ahead of us here, but we'll see if he continues with Stroll here for another lap as his Bottas now comes out of the pits. Then Magnussen and Albon are making their way down the main straight. His Stroll will find his way into the pits, and just like that, we have retaken the quote-unquote lead here, and we're going to have to see if we can preserve it here into the final stages of this Grand Prix. On the final lap, his Stroll then re-emerges in P16 then, so we're sitting at 34 compared to 28 points, and, well, right now, his Stroll could probably only overtake one person at the moment. His Bottas, though, is not doing too bad of a job up there in P6, so but he can't overtake many people either. Meanwhile, for us, we're sitting in 7th and 9th. Albon just needs to bring it home, and Magnussen just needs to bring it home at the moment. Then it looks like they're going to do just fine here. So we're going to come across the line to win then this race. It was a very good race for us, and very, I will admit, pretty lucky for us, considering the fact that our rival did not make the smartest moves there, putting his putting his driver on the soft tires, considering the fact that it was not nearly close enough to being dry. And we will come away then with the win, 33 points, sorry, to 31. So it was actually a little bit closer than I thought at the end. His Stroll actually made some decent progress, but so we're able then to pull off another victory for us, and we get some more coins and another crate. And on to the second and final race. We're going to do 2 races this episode here, trying to keep the time down. And, well, what do you know? We're going back to Azerbaijan once again. This time, though, it is also a wet qualifying, so we'll see how this ends up. Azerbaijan is, for some reason, a wet race, even though despite the fact in real life, I don't think it has ever been a wet race. But it's the same situation again, with both of our drivers out-qualifying our rivals' drivers. Albon there in P11, so a very good race then for a very good qualifying lap for him. Magnussen sits in P16 then, so it's going to be a bit interesting at the moment. But we'll see how the race ends up as we go on to the starting grid then, with Albon 11th, Magnussen 16th. A rival pretty much dead last there at that point. 5 red lights, and we are underway then. Is an average start, though, unfortunately, for both of our drivers. But despite that, though, Albon makes up a position off the start, but immediately gets re-overtaken then. So as we make our way through turn 2, we're down to 12th and 17th, but still holding station for now as we make our way into the heart of Sector 1. Then Albon in 12th, Magnussen in 16th. Now Albon makes his way back up into 11th then. So we've done the job of staying ahead of our rival at the moment. Now it's about the chance just to overtake the AI, get some more points, and see if we can come home with a convincing win right now. Albon sits in 11th here, Magnussen sits in 15th. We're going to be splitting the strategies once again for the drivers here, depending on what we determine at the end. We'll see which one goes 2-2-3 and which one will go 3-2-2. Maybe it is possible to pull off a one-stop here, potentially with Magnussen, if we do use the downforce boost. I know that boost has a very strong boost to tire wear, so we'll see if that is potentially an option. But we do not have a lot of those boosts, and I would like to say those. We do have plenty of self-control boosts, as you can clearly see here. 182 in total, so we obviously don't really need a lot more at the moment. So I'm fine, honestly, sticking with this 2-2-3 strategy. It does allow us to be a bit more aggressive, as there Albon makes his way past Albon there from up into P11, so one Albon overtaking another. So that, I don't think that sentence has ever been said. But yeah, we are now settling into this race very, very nicely here. Albon makes his way into the pits here. Magnussen will make his way into the pits on the next lap. Then his Bottas comes into the pits. While I think that's Hulkenberg that he's Hulkenberg and Magnussen, one of the other Haas drivers that he rocks, is going to be coming into the pits on the next lap here. Albon makes his way up into P20 then as he used a bit of overtake there just to power way out of that pit lane. Then Magnussen's looking good so far. We have plenty of battery charge in the power unit. Albon's also looking very good. So this is turning out to be a very solid race for both of our drivers here. Magnussen will make his way into the pits on this lap here. He makes his way past Sargent there, who I think is struggling there with a bit of tires there on that Williams car. I don't think that Sargent has very good tire management stats compared to Magnussen here. Albon's now making his way down the main straight here. He's looking pretty solid. Magnussen, wet tires on, and another set, and he will come out of the pits, I think, in P18, make that P14, 15 there, as the indicator was changing there ever so slightly. His Bottas is just ahead of us, and we just came out ahead of him. We have one lap fresher tires, but he actually defends us pretty well. That Bottas does have a good defending stat compared to Magnussen. But I think Magnussen does have a better overtake, better defending stat. Not exactly sure. But anyways, it's looking pretty good so far. Both of our drivers. Albon there, sitting in P11. He's going to come into the pits at the end of this lap. Magnussen will be carrying on for one more lap until we pit him once again. Verstappen is setting the timing sheets delay, as you can see on the top. His name has come up quite a bit here this race. He's been actually flying through this race, and we'll be surprised if he does win this race. Albon, 4.89 seconds in the pits. He comes out in P20 then, so not to worry too much at the moment. Now that we have Albon finishing his pit stops, it's now up to Magnussen to see how he can do and see if he can bring it home. We do have a couple drivers up ahead for Albon to overtake, and he will start doing that now. As we make our way into the castle section, he does get past Bottas there up into 19th. Not our rival, the Kick Sauber Bottas, as Magnussen will file his way into the pits behind the rival Bottas, more specifically. Then Albon's already caught up to the Haas or the rival Magnussen, as he makes his way down the main straight here. Albon will try to keep up with him. Magnussen, 4.96 seconds instead. He comes out in P20. Albon's been promoted now to P16, but he just makes his way there past the rival up into P15. As for Magnussen, he's also hungry as well to try to get past the Bottas as well. We do have a couple extra drivers just up ahead to see if we can try to overtake, but we do not have a lot of battery charge at the moment, so we're going to try to see maybe charge up the power unit on the way down this main straight here, down to do the final set of corners here. Albon does a good job defending there, as Magnussen also makes his way past and keeps the lead so far then, as his Magnussen peels into the pit stops with 1 lap to go there. So not exactly sure what the strategy there for our rival, but I'm not going to complain if it does mean that we're going to take home another victory here. That's going to be 2 out of 2 here at Azerbaijan, and we're looking good so far as we make our way through the section here. Magnussen hunting down that Bottas there, with Albon sitting very, very nicely in P12. It's not going to be the same result as last time. It's not going to be nearly as high, but again, a win is a win, and I will take it any sort of way we got, as we are approaching the end of Series 3 onto Series 4. We are getting very close, and so any win possible is looking very good, as Albon makes his way down the main straight. He's actually going to run out of tires just as we hit the line. He's going to lose P12 on the line, but we just about managed to hang on to P13, then just ahead of our rival. Magnussen will finish P15, not too far behind him, so very good result then for both of our drivers. And well, that's going to be it then for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this episode, I hope you guys did. Definitely be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next episode as we continue our march through Series 3. We are very, very close to the end then, and I hope that next time we should be able to get a little closer, and then maybe a couple episodes later we should be able to step it up. But I'm going to leave it off here with potentially a bit of deciding to upgrade. We do have a bit of coins to spend. We have 254,000, so maybe it might be a chance to get some parts upgraded here. Of course, unfortunately, the prices are still relatively expensive, but hopefully next time then when we come around, we'll have some extra money to spend before we get onto Series 4. It's gonna be a tough one considering we have most of the greatest drivers here, but we should be good. That is it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode then. Goodbye, everyone, and I'll see you soon.